down to the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about irresponsible, one-sided news stories
Plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has
extremely dangerous to our democracy.
What's going on? What's going on? All right, you know what time it is. You know what rhyme it is. I'm your gracious host A6. We are live in direct, live in effect. How's everybody doing today? Temperature nosedive out here in the East Coast. Again, it's been flim flamming for like the last 3 months, so ain't not really surprising out here on this end. Man, I am worn out. I'm just one of them times I'm just tired as I don't know what, man. I'm gonna try to make this as succinct as possible, but we got some stuff to cover, so I can't really short the show purposely. But yeah, we got to get this information out, man. 100%. But yeah, I got a little bit of rest done, man. Got to sit back and kick back and really relax today. It was good for me, you know. Didn't have to do a whole lot of running around. Luckily for me today. Who we got in the chat here? Truth is here. What's up? What's good? What's good? My man, America is done. Man, I tell you, something's definitely going on. I tell you that much. You know, we're gonna get to that. Alfonso, what up? My man, Civic Maker said he had something really important to do today. It's an important day for my man, so he said I don't count the day against him. So he said today don't count, Alfonso. Eric, what up? What's good? What's good? What's good? Red, what up? What's good? What's good? How you doing? Good to see you here. I only got one wrench in here, but it's all good though. We're gonna still make it happen. But yeah, man, I tell you, it seemed like time went by real slow today, man. It just seemed like today just like usually when I look at the clock, it's at least 3 p.m. When I looked at the clock, it was like 12. I'm like, okay. It seemed like it was a little slow today. I don't know. Maybe it was just me though. Might just be me and the type of mood I'm in, I suppose. Things just dragged by today. Man, what's going on with the economy, bro? I was doing some research this week, man. Let me tell you how dealerships right now are hurting with a capital H. Let's get into it, man. So this video is from off of Car Questions. I think an answers is car questions answered. YouTube page. If you guys want to go sub to them, they basically talk about the auto industry and what they expect in certain climates, and you know, basically what's going on for the auto industry. Let me tell you, what they got to say is not good. It's only a 14-minute video, but we're gonna dive into it. Fair use on this one and everything else too, by the way.
This truck is $85,000. This truck is $90,000. And I'm a used car dealer. And here at these car auctions, we're seeing auto loan delinquencies and repossessions spike.
Hey, what's up, guys? John here. Tens of millions of Americans are opting out of car ownership, giving the keys back to the lender. They can no longer afford these payments.
Americans now falling behind on their car payments.
The average monthly payment for a new vehicle right
now, keep in mind, I was actually talking to a guy about a year ago, and he was telling me that one of his buddies owns a car lot. And yeah, like these gentlemen were saying, people are actually bringing their keys back to the dealer and saying, yo, we can't even deal with this car payment. But wait till you hear how inflated these cars are. And this is a dealership full of new cars, trucks, and all of that stuff.
Right now is $750.
Oh no, $47,000 for this little unit.
Where are they going to put them? Where? There's nowhere. No empty spaces. It is full to the brim.
And look, $85,000. That's getting out of hand.
And the consumer right now, with everything costing so much, they are not able to keep up with their payments. So what happens? They lose their cars.
These are the places that you're not going to hear about on the mainstream media, but are just completely going out of business. And by default, those people lose their jobs.
And if you're wanting to buy one of these big SUVs or nice trucks right now, it's not going to be anywhere close to $750 a month. You're going to have to pay way more than that.
$118,000, folks, 118 grand. Wow. No words. Clearly.
Yo, 118 grand for a Dodge pickup truck. 118,000 smackaroos for a Dodge pickup truck. What? That is absurd, man. That is absurd. I mean, these same Dodge pickup trucks they selling for $118,000. That was the price of a 911 twin turbo Porsche. A 911 twin turbo Porsche was around $118,000. Now you got a freaking regular ass Dodge Hemi engine pickup truck, quad cab, going for $118,000, man. That is insane. That same truck you probably could have bought for like 68, 70 before all this crap happened with the pandemic, which topsy-turvied everything. Now this is the result.
The market is broken.
This truck right here is $96,000. So check this out. This is a full row of $80,000 and $90,000 F-150s.
That is getting out of hand.
There are so many auto loan delinquencies in the system right now that there are not enough tow truck drivers to service all of these lending institutions to get their cars back. And repossessed cars are the worst of the worst. They're dirty. They're nasty.
Hyundai Elantra versus Honda.
Definitely don't want one of them pieces of junk. They got engine problems. I wouldn't endorse one of those.
Parts falling off of them because the consumer knows if they're going to lose their car, why take care of it?
And I personally think we're going to walk into the biggest auto loan and auto market crisis we have ever before seen.
The other big thing I'm noticing at the moment is just seeing big dealerships disappearing. As soon as the values of cars came down, there just isn't the money left there anymore, and they're all defaulting and having to go through a bankruptcy.
So prices are so high that consumers...
But peep this out. Now, this is how you know this isn't true capitalism. Remember in 2008, where they called themselves the Big Three, claimed that they were going to go bankrupt, and they said, yo, we need money. They had to go down to the damn, where the hell did they go? Washington, to ask for a bailout from the taxpayers and all that stuff. Had to bail them garbage mofos out. Crazy part about it is in capitalism, if your business fails, it ain't no bailout. You take a L. That's the end. Finito. But the government actually literally bailed these mofos out. That's not capitalism, yo. That's not capitalism at all. They keep saying it's capitalistic, but at the end of the day, these companies are the ones that's dictating the government, because there's no possible way, if it was capitalism, a business will be able to be survived by its government. That's not how that works. That's something else, man.
Consumers are having to push out their loans to 72, 84 months to even be able to afford any of these vehicles.
But look, this is a Wrangler 4-door Sport 4x4, $66,000. That's absolutely lunacy. Clearly, the whole Canadian market is upside down. Vehicles are not selling. There's way too much inventory.
Ford Mavericks that you couldn't find anywhere. Look behind me. There are 9 of them sitting here for sale. Dealerships, even the Ford Maverick, stuff that was so hot that you couldn't find anywhere, is still right now sitting on dealership lots, not selling.
In 2022, CNBC reported that inflation was costing the average family $433 a month. Then the next year, $709 a month. Now they're saying it's $11,000 a year, almost $1,000 a month.
And it's no wonder why the American consumer is having such a hard time right now. The average American doesn't have $500 in their savings account for an emergency. So it's so bad right now. Even the most affordable vehicles on these dealership lots have to be marked down because people can't afford them. See right here, this says was $38,000, but after your rebates, after your discounts, now they're selling it for 30 grand, and they still can't move these things. And even though I have $2,500, $3,000, and $3,500 cars sitting on my lot, we are still slow. 2 months.
You best believe you go up there to buy that car, you're not going to spend $3,500. They're going to, by the time you leave out of there, you're going to be at like 11 grand. I've seen it happen. I went down to Florida with my boy. He wanted to go buy, they had a freaking Chevy Malibu or something like that. Thing only had like 120,000 on it for it to be the year it was. But they were talking about it was, I think they said it was like $3,800. Man, by the time he got done tacking on fees and all of this other stuff, it seemed like they were trying to get him to buy a new car, honestly. That's what it seemed like. But they jacked these fees and all this other crap up. And by the time it was done, he was at like $11,800, and then after I think taxes and all that stuff put him at almost 13,000. Like, wait a minute, what? How the hell are y'all asking for almost 10 grand more than what y'all had advertised on the website? But that's the game that these dealerships play, man. They try to smack you over the head.
Months ago, we would have been incredibly busy with those kind of prices, but we're seeing that the demand from the consumer is drying up. Even for $3,500 cars, people cannot afford to buy them right now. So right here, here's how we know it's bad. This Ford Explorer, the MSRP is $46,000, but now they have it discounted. Advertised, they have it discounted for $39,000. This has not happened in the last 3 years where a dealership is actually advertising under MSRP on their lot. This hasn't been happening. You know it's bad when these dealerships are coming out and advertising under MSRP.
Look at these vehicles. Lots of diesels. You got dualies, regular cabs with single rear wheels. And look, let's take a quick look and get an idea. $118,000.
Think about this. You have Tesla cutting prices. I mean, you could buy a Tesla Model 3 now for under 20 grand, under $20,000. There's hundreds of them available. They're cutting prices. They're trying to offload this inventory.
And now as a used car dealer, we are also struggling because what we have is we have decreased inventory coming to these auctions because the new car dealers aren't selling them. So the more strapped the consumer is, the less they're able to buy from new car dealers, the fewer trade-ins they're able to get to these new car dealers, the fewer vehicles they are actually able to get to me to bid on at these auctions.
Car owners are trying to get rid of these cars. Dealers and lenders trying to get rid of these cars. Looking to buy a car today with a 14% interest rate. Buying a $47,000 car with a 14% interest rate, looking at about $1,000 a month, plus car insurance and gas, $1,500 a month. It's not going to happen, not for the average person.
And it's not just the consumers and these car dealers that are getting hurt. These auction companies are getting hurt too. See this whole line right here. It is empty. It's empty because these new car dealers are not able to sell vehicles. They're not able to get these trade-ins. So this auction can't run what they normally run. This row is typically filled with cars, with trade-ins, and they're not here. So these auction companies are also suffering right now.
What's shocking, though, is 2007, 2008, everyone remembers the great financial crisis is that 1929-like event. Average used car was about 8 grand. Average used car is about 8 grand. Now, you're looking at 4 times that amount. The average home back then was $246,000. The average home today is about 420 grand. Food prices have tripled. Everything has gotten out of control, yet real wages have barely moved. You look at all these new spending bills, all this new money that's being sent overseas. We're going to see inflation get a lot worse, and I believe we're going to start to see more auto loan delinquencies. We're already at a 30-year high than we've ever before seen. It's coming very, very, very soon. You look at Google Trends, type in voluntary repossession over the last 20 years, and you'll see where we're actually headed. And the reason for this is inflation is crippling the average family.
And a lot of times people are electing not to buy these late model or brand new vehicles because they're too expensive. Even with some of the incentives, it's just not worth it.
And car dealers, especially used car dealers, are so pinched right now that we're even seeing their cars get repossessed. Yes, car dealers can get their cars repossessed. They owe money on their vehicles that they have sitting on their lot. So if they don't sell them, then the lending institution can literally go to their car lot, pick up their car, bring it here, dump it, and then that car dealer is on the hook for the difference.
Hey, Brandon. So as we all know, layoffs have been pretty rampant since the beginning of 2024. In fact, one of the biggest layoffs that we have seen as of recent history has been the one with Tesla, where they just laid off 14,000 workers. And as you can see on this chart from layoffs.fyi, the tech layoffs over the past couple of years have been absolutely massive.
And all these cars that you're seeing behind me right now, this is a sign of a strapped consumer. What are all these? These are all repossessed vehicles. These are all individual consumers that could not make their monthly payments on these vehicles. So they stopped. And when they stop doing it, they're going to lose their car. And we're seeing this across the market, an uptick in auto loan delinquencies, credit card delinquencies, and now repossessions. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. And what's crazy is I literally just had a conversation with my sales manager, and he's telling me, look, Brandon, we can't buy cars that we have to sell for $4,500 anymore because people cannot buy them. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring back our range. Even me, a car dealer that sells cars that are $5,000 and under, I have to bring my range down now because people don't have the money to buy these cars. It's so bad that my sales manager is saying, Brandon, we are dead. We can't buy these cars that people cannot afford anymore. And the cars that he's talking about that they can't afford, they're $4,500. People can't afford $4,500 cars anymore. So I just want to give you the grand scale of this. We have a full row of trucks, another full row of trucks, full row of trucks, full row of trucks. And if we keep on going over here, these are actually SUVs, but there are like 3 or 4 or 5 more rows full of vehicles. Now, I've been to this dealership a lot in the last year. I have never seen it this stacked full of vehicles. And it's because it's not just Ford, and it's not just this dealership's fault. It's because the American consumer cannot afford to buy these vehicles. So they're not, and they're stacking up at dealerships, and dealerships are now having to turn down allocations because where are they going to put them? Where? There's nowhere. No empty spaces. It is full to the brim. So another massive problem that I'm hearing from franchise GMs is that customers are coming in with so much negative equity that they can't trade them up and trade them out of their current vehicle because they owe too much on it. So typically what would happen is most consumers would have negative equity on their vehicles and would be able to trade in every 3 to 4 years and just roll that negative equity into their new vehicle. But now, because the negative equity is so high, they're not able to do that anymore. And this is hurting sales for a lot of these franchise dealers. And they're really worried about it because people owe too much on these cars that they paid way too much for, and the banks allowed them to do it.
This car market in Canada is absolutely ballistic, and people aren't buying. Cost of living's too high. And as you can see, even with some incentives on trucks, SUVs, cars, and that's every brand, they're still not selling. But this just doesn't begin and end here. Clearly, the whole Canadian market is upside down. Vehicles are not selling. There's way too much inventory. A lot of it has to do with a lot of the markups. Yes, we've seen some incentives here recently, but honestly, look at even base models like this right here. We have a Jeep Wrangler. This is more or less just a sport 4x4, and of course 4 doors. It doesn't even have much for features. Plastic here, and look, even this goes for a whopping $65,000. That's pretty typical. Even little SUVs like this Jeep Compass right here, great little units, fun. But honestly, there was a day when this vehicle was 25, 30 grand. But even this here is a whopping $47,000 for this little SUV here.
So me as a used car dealer, I can see at these car dealer auctions the strain that all these dealers are feeling. We see it in the form of no sales. Dealers that traded, they gave too much money for these vehicles. Now they're trying to unload them to other dealers and the money's not there. We're seeing repos spike up here at auctions. People are not paying for their cars. What we're seeing too is that we're seeing fewer and fewer cars come through the auction. And that means that new car dealers are not selling, because what we get here at these auctions are trade-ins. And if we're not seeing a lot of trade-ins come to the auction, that means new car dealers are not selling.
So what?
All right. So for the average individual consumer out there who doesn't really comprehend, contracts, any of that stuff, the Uniform Commercial Code, you know what I'm saying? Any of that, any of those things, securities and all of that stuff, who just go in and they do an application like a regular purchase, quote unquote, and they get their, payments and all that stuff, and they get their security interest up, and get their insurance and get the state plates. The problem with it is they not moving whips. They're crazy. Here's the crazy part. They don't want to come down on the price because of greed. Like, if you really look at the way these dealerships are actually moving with these finance companies, once you drop your autograph on their promissory note, that automobile has technically already been squared away. The financial burden has basically been transferred from off of you, but they want to go ahead, monetize it, get that loot, and then get more loot from the Fed, and then they want to go back and charge you, for the same amount, that because they want you to think that you're paying them back. But this is the greed that's starting to catch up with them. That's what I'm seeing. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, the economy is 100% transforming. To what, however, I really can't say, man. So I guess I propose the question to you guys. Where do you think this whole thing is headed? Because we all know it's going downhill. You people in the chat said it's crashing. Looks that way. Where do you think it's heading, man? Or you think they're gonna go straight to the digital currency? Like, how is this thing gonna move, you think? I will say it's not going to be operated the same way it's operated, because you know it's already damn near collapsed in 2008. It's been what, 2008 was, what is that, it's like, what is that, man, my math is a little off. That's a little over like 20 years, I believe, in 2008. Yeah, like 20 years, about 20 years. So that little bailout they got lasted them almost approximately 20 years, 24, close to 20 years. We'll put it that way. I'm tired as hell. Close to 20 years, basically. So, with that said, you know what I'm saying? Um, these little band-aids they're putting on these issues don't really seem to be holding long term. You know what I mean? So at what point is it going to be like, all right, look, we already bailed y'all out one time. If y'all can't stay afloat, that is your problem. You know what I'm saying? Let the next guy come up. But if that does happen, and Chevy and all these other companies do go under, it's going to be a lot of electric cars on the road. Now, check this out. We talked about the electric car thing about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and how electric cars weren't really, at the time, weren't really a feasible option. But yo, if these main car manufacturers somehow take a dive with this economy being like it is, and some new ones got to step up, yo, that might really be the cob launch to launch the electric car market into the forefront. Even though right now Tesla's hurting too, you know what I'm saying? But again, the main problem for those electric cars, man, was definitely the affordability. That was one of the main issues, affordability, and then you know, the batteries being disposed of was another issue. Accessibility, being able to charge it wherever you go. I'm starting to see more and more charging stations for electric cars and Teslas when I move around, though. Go to a parking garage, they'll have a designated floor for electric cars. You know what I mean? So like, yo, t- listen, I'm gonna say this. The infrastructure is way better than it was a year and a half ago. Okay. If you watch my show when I was in, I think I might have been in Texas or something like that. If you watch my show I did, you'll see me talking about the infrastructure and how it actually wasn't that great. But yo, it's night and day difference. In my trek, I probably see at least 3 charging stations for electric cars. 3 of them. There's one in a college parking lot, and there's one in a parking garage, and then there's another one coming straight up the road, not too far from where I'm at. So it's like, yo, these things are really starting to show up. You know what I mean? This might be their way of phasing out gas cars, man. Listen, we're going to see some changes. You know, what kind of changes we'll see and to what degree can be debated, but there's definitely going to be some changes happening. So everybody keep paying attention. What up, Jared? What's good? What's good? The four Jules the rule. What up? What up, Jules? Hopefully we'll be able to have the four Jules the rule on here a little later on. But what's good, Champ? How you feeling? The economy's getting ready to crash, Jared says. Yo, I'm listen. We've seen it happen before. We've seen it. They want to say that the recession wasn't a depression. Let me tell you something, brother. Whew, I remember that shit. That shit was wild, yo. Craziness. Yep, better study commercial law. 100%, man. Because I'm gonna tell you, the way it's starting to go, you're gonna have to start learning how to fill out your contracts, reserve your rights. You know what I'm saying? Um, hold the banks responsible for not letting the promissory note discharge debts, things like that. You're gonna have to start putting their feet to the fire because at this point, the old way of doing things is not really working anymore, man. It's evident. You can look outside and see what's going on. It's evident. What up, Civic? What's good? Good to have you here, man. You're gonna have everyone rent everything. Yeah, I've heard about that too. I've heard about that. Let's get the likes up. Yes, please. Y'all should be getting likes. We got 24 heads in here. It should be 24 clicks on the like button. But yeah, man, he said I'm renting everything. Not necessarily, bro. Like if you want to go, rent yourself a big ass house and stuff like that for over what the house is worth, that's cool. But for us that want to just scrape our cheese together and go get a piece of land and put a little home on there, something like that, man, that's gonna have to be the way. It ain't no other way, though. That's why Amazon and all these other people are getting involved with the tiny home race, bro. You got so many of these companies making these tiny homes, calling them sheds and stuff like that, so they can get away with selling them to the public. Yeah, yo, like, listen, it is not a game out. People are really finding out. You got the solar panel thing becoming a big deal. You got rain collectors. You can get a rain collector put out front of your house too. We looked at that last week. They can literally put a rain collector. It's like, oh, collecting water is illegal. Yeah, all right, whatever. Like, send me the bill, bitch. You know what I mean? That type of thing. But a rain collector or something like that, man. You get your filter going and all that stuff, bro, and just be completely separated, man. You ain't got to worry about paying nobody shit. Put everything in a land trust or something like that, man. And let that be the business. Live peacefully. Normal people are waking up because the system's putting too much stress on them to live comfortably. Now they're seeking alternatives like negotiable instruments. The system doesn't like that. Hey, the greed is done, yo. They ate they were eating, bro. How many of y'all sent negotiable instruments in only to have them be kept, and then they still sending you bills like you didn't discharge the debt? You know what I mean? That shit is coming to a screeching halt, bro, because the greed can only last for so long. And then they go ahead and say, oh, it's because you sent this to the wrong place. You know what I'm saying? That could be the case. But you know what I'm saying? You might even send it to the other place. They might say, yeah, well, we're going to act like we ain't get the joint. It's possible. What's up, Dylan? What's going on? Only reason EVs exist is government subsidizing their shit. Oh, absolutely. Electric vehicles. Listen, I would not want an electric vehicle because of the simple fact that they're so easy to be tampered with, man. They could wirelessly tamper. And not even just like, government. It could literally be hackers. Y'all see what's going on with them Hellcats? Like if you got a Hellcat or you got a any kind of Dodge, like a Challenger or something like that with a push button start and you live down in Atlanta, yo, the theft of those cars is through the roof. They don't even got to go in your house to get the key. They can literally take like a computer. All right, so look, bang, you in the house sleep. You go to sleep like 8:30 at night or 9 o'clock at night, whatever. You put your keys on a keyboard downstairs. You go upstairs and go to bed, take a shower, go to bed, right? They don't even got to get in your house anymore to get in a car. They can sit out front of your house with the tool and pick up the transmitting from the tool and boost the signal inside the car to be able to wirelessly start your car. That's how crazy the tech is, bro. And the car is not even an electric car. It's just the whole entire electric component can be manipulated so easily by somebody with an advanced computer system, man. How you think they still in cars over in Europe? Listen, car theft ain't going nowhere. Car theft is going to continue. People been stealing cars forever. They've been stealing cars since the carburetor days, bro. They're gonna figure out how to steal your whip because the technology is gonna evolve to be able to keep doing it, man. That's what's happening. So, like with these electric cars and stuff like that, you're gonna be in a bad position, man. I'm telling you. You got somebody that can just literally take your car from the comfort of their own home with a damn VPN. Like, that's crazy. Or maybe even with you in it. You know, they might be able to reroute your route. That's bad news. Too dangerous to drive and facilitate the danger of the batteries itself. Yeah, 100%. They also catch fire and explode. That's facts too. What up, King? What's good? Study securities and securitization. That's how they operate since there's more money. Oh, absolutely. The SEC. That's one thing I have not got into yet. I'm so busy doing other things, bro. I ain't even had a chance to really deep dive into that yet. But the way it's looking, I might have to put everything else on a screeching hold, man. What has to happen is a total bailout for the people. A digital currency will not change the problem. Nope. The banking system is still flawed and not put in place for us Americans. We have to contract privately. I don't disagree with that, Chant. I don't disagree with that. We have to definitely know how to move privately. That's 100% a fact. And the crazy part is, had this been taught in schools, you know what I'm saying? But this is now we come full circle. Cause who's in charge of them curriculums and all of that stuff? Who can stand to benefit the most from ignorance? You know, the corporations. You know what I mean? Yo, teaching basic bull crap in school, you know what I'm saying? Have them graduate, go out there and get a job, come work for like, Chevy or Ford or something like that, make us rich, you know what I mean? Sales department and stuff like that. These are things that really are put into place to keep people ignorant. But they never taught us how to do any of this stuff in school, which is where a majority of this stuff should happen. We should be learning this in school. But again, if we learn how to contract privately and stuff like this in school, they wouldn't stand to be able to take advantage of us as well as they've done so far. History is repeating itself again. Yep. Unplug the battery. Yeah, 100%, man. And the cycle's gonna continue. It's gonna continue, man. So, man, I'm telling you, this stuff's crazy, but it's a reality right now. All right. All right. Let's take a look at all right, let's look at this gentleman here. Let's look at this gentleman here.
Households, yeah,
Okay.
that you can power with one machine.
So where's the energy coming from?
Well, anything it's straight away from the natural energy that God has just put in the earth, in our on our earth. Yeah, the radio frequency.
Amidst the excitement of seeing this for the first time, a couple of strangers showed up on the site where we were being shown these devices, and Maxwell, the inventor, took us aside as soon as he could and said, "These guys are from the government," and I didn't know they were coming.
The microphone we had on Maxwell picked up the conversation that he had with one of the officials. So we quickly got the tape translated and found out that the government official was promising Maxwell a power purchase agreement where the government would pay him for generating energy for the country. Although Maxwell didn't trust him because the government had already put him in prison in an effort to steal his technology.
All right. So they already threw this man behind bars. So this guy was using he was powering homes with radio waves. So that's what they do. You start figuring out how stuff works. Like the guys with the crystals, you know what I'm saying? Diceni and glass. That's when the men in black come to your house and take all your equipment and stuff like that. Don't say nothing to you. Just come in your house, fuck your Fourth Amendment, fuck everything, come in your house, take all your equipment, and then dip off. And that's how they move. But this man was powering 300 homes with radio waves. That's amazing. I'm gonna say this: they came to him with that offer, right? He don't take that offer, man. They gonna get his ass. That's how they do. They gonna get him. Unfortunately, man, they gonna come get him. If he don't take that offer, they gonna come for him, man. Because they already reached out to him, like, look, take the money. Let's work together. In translation, let us commandeer your project. Take this check and shut the fuck up. That's basically what it translates to. That's what it seems like to me. Yeah, you over there figuring stuff out, huh? All right, no problem. Hey, go ahead and hold on to this. Let me hold you. Let me let you hold something real quick. The moment you take that money, they got you. You know. But yeah, that's interesting stuff. Somebody said, we must protect this man at all costs. Might be too late, man. He already on the radar. You know, you start creating solutions for people's problems, man, instead of band-aids. That's the issue. Oregon Shevril. I know about the Oregon pyramids. I'm not clear about the She and Vril, though. You can't be giving people power for free. That's messing with our enterprise. That's how it works, man. That's how it works. 110%. You know, you start interfering with commerce, that's when stuff start happening. Like there's a whole cartel behind that. Energy cartel, banking cartel. You start messing with the money. That's when stuff starts getting a little odd. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, there are people like that all around the world who come up with these inventions, and the people from the government either force them out of the country or won't let them get anywhere. Yeah, 100%. You know, like when you invent something like this, you literally have to just use it personally, or maybe for your family. You know what I'm saying? You really can't. You know, you really can't even really go out there like that because the more people you start to help, the word will start getting out, and it's gonna get to the certain people, you know. And you'd be surprised how many people in society are literally like informants or spies. You know what I'm saying? They got spies in everyday life that just report back on stuff people say. Like you might not even suspect somebody, and all they do is look out for stuff. You know, somebody come with some information or something like that. 100%. That's gonna get back to them people. That's how they know everything. Also, the phones and all that stuff too. You're listening to all that. Internet, YouTube, listening to this conversation. There's a paradigm they have to protect. As I was told, it's political. You stand up, you'll be crushed. There is a paradigm, and like I said, this is the whole purpose of these people taking. I believe that there was a blood oath that was taken, and the responsibility of these people or these individuals were to make sure that we don't fall into the trap of getting too fast, too far, too fast. For whatever the reason is, I personally believe it was a situation where this had been done before, and we accelerated too fast, and we weren't um, maybe spiritually mature enough is what I meant to say, to be able to handle the kind of technology that we created, and we ended up fucking shit up. Like yo, these civilizations and things like that, you guys know for a fact this isn't the first or second or third. There's probably been literally thousands, if not millions, of iterations of even societies or reality, even. You know what I'm saying? That have been restarted in so many words because that might have been a critical failure. You know what I'm saying? The people who are supposed to be in charge of um, keeping things in a certain order may not have done their job. You know, let people devise things like this too fast, and the public got a hold of them. You know what I'm saying? Let people discharge debt too fast. People stop working. Society collapsed. People killed each other. Who knows what the hell happened? I don't know, man. But I'm just saying that's the only thing I can think of that would allow these people to continue to get away from that karmic debt that they build up by preventing people from helping others. You know, like what would be the greater reason for that? Because you're gonna rack up a karma if somebody's trying to help others and you purposely get in his way and you do something to them. You know what I'm saying? If there's no greater purpose than you just being a hater or you just wanting to be greedy, you're gonna get stomped on by reality. You know what I'm saying? Or the universe, even the laws of the universe. But if there's a situation where there's a greater purpose behind it, you know, you might be able to get some leeway. Might be the case. Cause yo, they've been doing this for a long time, man. You know, like the guy that tried to They tried to discharge everybody's debt. What was that in? That was in Europe, wasn't it? He tried to create a negotiable instrument and settle the national debt, and he locked his ass up. He locked him up for, I think it was fraud or something like that. He created an instrument and tried to settle the national debt, and he locked him up for fraud. Crazy. You know about the Office of Persons? No, I don't. I do not. Office of Persons. After today, I will. That's for sure. I will look into that. The old homes used to have a long copper roof rod utilizing free energy, and you can still find churches that still have them, but science says it doesn't know why they were used. Of course. Of course. I mean, yeah. That's what the steeples were for. That's what the church steeples were for, correct? The word C, citizen, the word P, person. I'm neither. I'm a living soul. Word. Citizen and person are the same, one and the same. I don't disagree with that. Corporate corporation term person all deemed names except living man. I believe the problem is that it's introduced publicly. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's gonna hit the news. The news is gonna get involved with it, because their job is to blow stuff like that all the way up. So, it doesn't go, beyond a certain point. In the past, anyone who has spoken up publicly to help the people was targeted because they were too loud. There you go. There's a certain way things have to be done, like, what can I say, man? There's an order to which it's like a chess game, you know what I'm saying? You can't just come to the forefront with the stuff. Like, that's why when we were trying to force people to not, take that jab and stuff like that in 2020, and it was so much pushback, like, yo, y'all don't know what y'all talking about, y'all conspiracy theory. I mean, we were just really trying to help people, because we cared about the people around us. You know what I mean? We thought we were trying to help people, but there's rules to this. Like, you can't force. You can only present people with the information if they're ready to receive it. And you could try to force the information on them, but it's gonna fall on deaf ears. You waste energy at that point. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what it was. But yeah, so that whole entire thing, yeah, he said that because they were too loud. Yeah, 1,000%. You know what I mean? Which is why I wonder how some processes got leaked in the first place and people didn't get like in serious trouble. Like, let's even take the passport process that everybody knew and loved. I was very effective at one point. Um, I often wonder how that even got leaked because, yo, that's something that could definitely and was abused. People took the joint and they ran with it and did a bunch of goofy stuff and messed it up for everybody else. You know what I mean? The most common office held in a state is therefore the office known as person. Your state legislation created this office as a way to control people. Yeah, I've looked up a few of the terms. I've never heard the office of persons, but I've definitely looked up a few of the terms. And when you reach out to these people and try to get answers, they don't want to give you the answers. You know what I'm saying? Like definitions of what different things mean. They don't want to do that. They want to ignore you. Angry judge and attorneys probably leaked the info on the passport. That would be interesting. I would think it'd be somebody from the Department of Homeland Security. Honestly, I didn't think it would be like a judge or something like that. No, in terms of attorneys, the whole secure party process was supposed to be leaked by attorneys. Your LOL. One begs to disagree with the use of the word your. But yeah, so that's very interesting stuff there. We'll put it that way. But yo, let's talk about this right here. I wanted to run past you guys because this is going to be a problem. So if you are intending on grabbing yourself some gold and silver to physically hold, just to make sure that you got literally lawful money, you know what I'm saying? As constitutional money, because there is lawful money. There 100% is lawful money. For a long time, we were saying there's no money, there's no money. But there's money. They're just not using it, but there is lawful money, and you can get lawful money, 100%. What do you think them gold eagles and silver eagle coins are? What do you think the gold backs are? You know what I'm saying? That's gold and silver coin, right? So check this out. China has a fake gold problem. Locals are getting scammed into buying artificial jewelry. Man, you know it's crazy. We were talking about the goldbacks in January. Like, yo, goldbacks right now is not really a concern of getting counterfeited because nobody really there's isn't a big market for goldbacks right now. You know what I'm saying? Like people are now out there like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Let me get one of them goldbacks, or let me get a bunch of goldbacks, and we can trade them back and forth. There's not a big demand for them at the current time. Well, I would go as far as to say back then there wasn't. Um, yeah, so with stuff like that, when you're dealing with precious metals, you know what I mean? At this point, you're gonna start needing to have a tester because check this out. Thousands of people in China have been duped into forking out money on fake gold, inferior or artificial gold after trying to purchase so-called 999 gold online. Now we know China's the mecca hub for bootlegs, okay? But let me say something to you. Whatever happens in China or whatever items are available in China eventually make their way over here. If you don't believe me, look at what happened with them switches. Remember them switches all them little thugs and gangsters is playing around with? Them switches for them GLOCKs, they running around and hitting everybody but their targets in these neighborhoods and stuff like that. They came from over here from China. A lot of those switches actually came over here from China. They were sending switches over here on Wish. Dude, I remember I had back when I had Facebook. Yo, the things I would see that you could get on Wish, I can't even say some of that stuff on this joint, yo. It was crazy what I saw on there. I'm like, yo, how is this law? How is this legal? What the fuck is Facebook doing? Dude, some of the stuff they had on that damn it wasn't it was like when you scroll down in between posts, you might see like that little, feed shop on Wish today, and you flip and there's like little squares and they had random items. Bro, some of the stuff they had was like military grade stuff. Like, what is this doing on? This looks like something you meet up in a back alley in a parking garage that closed 7 hours ago and it's still dark outside and you're purchasing something with cash from a very shady looking gentleman with a trench coat and a freaking hat, one of them Inspector Gadget low hanging hats or whatever the hell they were called, one of them bucket hats or whatever. Yes, look like they had some of that stuff on there. I'm like, yo, what is this? And this was on Wish back in the day. This back when before Wish collapsed. I think this might have been 2019 or something like that, or 18. But yo, some of the stuff I saw on there that you could buy blew me away. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I never mess with Wish personally because you ordering stuff from China. It's common sense. You ordering freaking stuff from China, like illegal stuff, like those kids were doing when they got hemmed up with them switches. Yo, you're gonna get hemmed up by the feds. They know what you're doing. Yo, they're watching everything you're doing. I don't get it. But anyway, I digress. Um, you know, the silver and stuff like that, and the gold counterfeiting is that it's gonna make its way over here, man. So we need to start learning ways we can test gold for its authenticity. Making sure it's not just silver coin dipped in gold plated out exterior, you know what I mean, or a gold tester you can use on it for the frequency of the gold, stuff like that. Gold's recent rally has sparked a bullion rush, but along with it came a surge in gold scams in China. Right. So again, the demand in gold increases. 77,000 for spot, which is basically a record on gold value. 77,000 for one. What is it? What's that for? That's for a kilo, right? I think that's for. Is that a kilo? Yes, for a kilo of gold with 77,000, which is supposed to be the highest it's ever been. But once that happens, and once there's money in it, here comes the scams. Same thing that always happens. Thousands of people in China have been duped into forking out money on fake gold, inferior or artificial gold after trying to purchase so-called 999 gold online, according to the government. The purest form of gold is commonly referred to as 999 gold because of its gold content of 99.9%. It also sometimes, it is also sometimes referred to as 24 karat gold. Fake gold is becoming a major problem in China as more Chinese are looking to put their savings into gold, said China Market Research Group's managing director, Sean Ryan. China is the leading consumer demand for bullion. That's interesting. I didn't know that. After the country overtook India in 2023 to become the world's largest buyer of gold jewelry. Chinese consumers bought 603 tons of gold jewelry last year, a 10% jump from 2022. That is interesting. The main thing a consumer can do to protect themselves is to buy gold from reputable sources, whether this is online or in store. The demand for gold combined with unsophisticated Chinese consumers and investors unable to differentiate between 24 karat and lower quality gold has given rise to scammers, Ryan added. Reports about the rise in gold scams have been on local media and consumer protection sites such as Himayo Tusu, a third-party consumer service platform under tech giant Sina. One user who reportedly bought 5 gold pendants for 1,985 Chinese yuan, about $280, on an online e-commerce platform, Taobao, said he found out the gold was fake after conducting a flame test. What is a flame test? You look into that. Fake gold gets darker or reveals a greenish color when placed under flame, while pure gold turns brighter on exposure to heat. I didn't know that. Interesting. Another user complained about buying gold product from online retailer Pinduoduo, only for it to arrive with rust on it. Well, that's a no-brainer right there. If your gold has rust, it is fake. The user claimed to have brought it to a jeweler for appraisal and was told it was fake. Taobao and Pinduoduo did not respond to CNBC's request for comment. Real versus fake gold. In a bid to protect consumers from scammers, China's government recently released guidelines on how to identify the authenticity of gold jewelry. Tips include listening to the sound when it's thrown on the floor, throw your gold on the floor, or dropping nitric acid on the goldware. If the acid drip reveals a green color, the gold objects is either made of other ordinary metal or gold plated. If nothing happens to the gold, then it is likely the gold is genuine, the guideline noted. Additionally, a consumer who is familiar with gold could spot a fake from its weight vis-a-vis its size and volume, said Nikos Kavilis, founding partner of the precious metals research and consultancy Metals Focus. All right, so if you guys want to look more into it, you can. The article is on CNBC. But y'all need to be on aware if y'all are out there purchasing precious metals. All right. I would highly recommend going through APMEX. I told y'all this before. You want to get lawful money and you want to get your hands on some of that stuff to have. And just in case you need to move around how you need to move around, you need to make sure you're not buying fakes. Because that's trash. You ain't trying to spend $2,000 for $2,300 for a goddamn ounce of gold only to find out is fake. Oh, nah, that's crazy. That's crazy. A footnote of D. Trump doesn't win in 2024 is over for USA, game over, and the world. Listen, shit is gonna hit the fan. Biden gets another. Believe it. You better start prepping now, because if Biden gets in office, bro, a second term, it's gonna be nasty. Now, I ain't even a Trump type of dude, but I can obviously see what's happening in front of me. God, Biden's a weirdo. He does not belong in office. But yeah, you better start buying start stacking your rice, stacking your canned goods, getting your freedom seeds together, gathering arms and all that stuff just to protect yours, man, because shit gonna get ugly if he get another term. You can just look what he did in these 4 years and see what the hell happened. The Democrats play the same game, blaming the last guy who was in office for a crappy economy. That's all politics, I guess. APMEX and Provident Metals are the only sites I trust. I've been exchanging fiat for years. Yeah, I like Pinehurst coins. I like APMEX. You know what I'm saying? Those are the two I usually use to move around with. But yeah, APMEX is pretty reliable. APMEX has got a free app. I tell y'all to get right on APMEX and get the free app. You don't gotta buy it by the ounce. If you just need to buy the grams, they got it by grams too. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be by the ounce. You don't have to be big balling, but you should be definitely exchanging fiat for it because you want that lawful money. That's what you want. For the sake of argument, what is the inherent value of gold and silver outside the scope of electronics? Well, I would go as far as to say, you said the scope of electronics. I would go as far as to say frequency. Um, a lot of people don't know when you have silver, like silver coins or something on you, it does affect your frequency in a positive way. Same thing for gold. You know what I'm saying? It gives you a higher frequency as well. Silver also has protective what is the word I'm searching for? Metaphysical properties too. It's got like somewhat of a protective thing with it. Um, Prime example. I was out in DC with a family member, and I brought my silver can with me. My can is made of silver, right? So I always bring it with me when I go out because I like to drink my water while I'm out. I don't like to have to resort to getting bottled water because that stuff it just dries my mouth out. So I just like to keep that natural spring water on me. So I had it in the whip, and I brought like a little Nintendo Switch or whatever, just chilling or whatever in the passenger seat. So I'm just riding down there, hanging out. So we park in the parking garage, and I leave my Switch in the car, and I leave my can in the car because the place we were going, you wasn't gonna be able to take I wasn't gonna be able to take my can in there. So leave it in the car. We come back out like 3 hours later after the show was over, and there's a host of windows busted out. I mean, this dude must have busted out like probably 30 windows in like a 5 floor. It was an operation. They would just pow, pow, pow. It probably was a group of them doing it. We ain't see him doing it, of course, because everybody was in the show. They was getting busy in the parking lot, and they was just punching out windows, taking stuff out the glove box. Crazy part is, um, the passenger side where I was sitting, the window was punched out, and the glove box was open, but none of my stuff was taken. So that I believe it was that the frequency of that silver that kept my stuff protected basically. So you know what I'm saying? None of my stuff was taken. There was some other things that were taken as well though. But none of my stuff was taken. So I was like, that's very interesting. But I don't know. I'm just saying, if you look in like any of the metaphysical properties of some of these metals and things, because listen, don't just get it twisted. It's not just about what you can see, touch, or taste. There's a lot of things that are metaphysical you can't necessarily see. And our ancestors who ruled this planet before would use these things for multiple purposes. Why do you think the rulers had gold staffs with like a ruby or a scepter in them? A ruby is basically a leadership gem. You know what I'm saying? So, a power gem type of thing. So, yeah, these things have meanings. So, yeah, it does have an inherent value outside of, the scope of electronics. I would go as far as to say there's metaphysical properties for all of this stuff. This stuff's put here by the Most High. It has more than one use, you know? Yeah, a magical piece of paper, but it's not inherent value. This guy. Gold is the least expensive. At the moment, gold is the least expensive out of the other superconductors, but it was said that eventually gold and platinum will be phased out for these new types of precious metals. I didn't hear that. I find that hard to believe, though, Lawrence, to be honest with you, man. I don't think gold's going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I remember platinum was real popular in the early 2000s with all them rappers. They didn't want to buy silver or white gold anymore. They all wanted platinum. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we wearing platinum chains now. Oh, we got platinum show. You still rocking white gold? We got platinum, yo. Nobody really cares anymore like that. The only real value is knowledge. Nobody needs money. Technically true, but as a medium of exchange, I go as far as to say gold and silver still hold weight. Because I mean, yes, you can exchange knowledge and things like that, but commerce is really supposed to be conducted with gold and silver. And the reason is, I believe, partially because of the metaphysical properties. You know what I mean? It is a way of securing wealth as it holds value better than real magical pieces of paper called Federal Reserve notes. Exactly. I'll be honest with you, man. The only thing I really like Federal Reserve notes now for these days are operating in commerce, of course. And basically, as a medium of exchange to try to get like precious metals and stuff like that. I had a whole bunch of them. I would get a whole bunch of metals and things, but Like I said, man, for those of you who don't have a lot, man, we can just get out there and get them grams. You ain't gotta have a whole lot of them. Oh, hey, I will never argue for Federal Reserve notes, but what I'm asking is why are gold and silver considered valuable? I already answered that, Supplanter. Sounds like we need to start mining our own gold again. That's a good point, bro. They had a machine online. I actually saw a new machine where you could just drop some dirt in the machine and it'll find the gold for you. But yeah, 100%. The mining for gold thing was fire back in the day. You had to go all over the place to try to find it. Well, rivers and streams are. Your first sentiment is correct in addition to its rarity. Historically, before electronics was a measuring tool for wealth, now the world uses Federal Reserve notes as a measuring stick. Yeah, that's why the currency used to be backed by gold. Like you used to be able to go to the bank and exchange it. Humans were genetically engineered in order to be slaves to mine gold because gold could deflect solar rays, be ingested in a monatomic format. Well, that's true too. That is true, but again, it has multiple properties. Like my man said, it's also a superconductor too. Gold has a multitude of properties, man. Let me tell you. Silver, of course, has antimicrobial. Yes, that is true. Also, yes, silver. Yes, indeed, you can drop a silver coin in your can, and yes, it does have antimicrobial, microbial, and antifungal properties. That is facts. No doubt, man. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you. Thank you. I believe silver will surpass the value of gold in the future due to the fact that silver is harvested as a byproduct of mining other metals. It'll become rarer and in turn more valuable. That's going to be hard to believe. I find that hard to believe, Noble. I mean, it's a good thought, but I find that to be hard to believe, man, because silver is it's easier to find. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's easier to find. So that's going to be that's a hard sell for me. But I guess nothing's impossible though. Nothing's impossible. All right, let's see. All right, man. Let's talk about these. Talk about the Matrix glitching out real quick. I think I'm gonna do one more, and I'm gonna open up the line and get a see if we can get a guest on here. All right, so take a look at this lady right here. Has anybody seen something like this happen in public?
No, literally.
Wait.
What the fuck is
Babe, stop cussing. Wait, she's not moving at all.
That's what I'm saying. What is going on there?
What is she looking at?
What is she doing?
That's actually really concerning.
Very creepy. I don't know what's going on. I've seen a lot of TikToks with like glitches in the Matrix, but this got to be top dog for me.
Oh my god!
No, seriously, this is a glitch. Like,
You're okay. This one, real fucking ugly. Oh, you see, I take these glasses off. She looks like a regular person, doesn't she? Huh? Put them back on. Formaldehyde face. That's what we got.
That's enough out of you. You get out or I call the cops.
no one is standing at that perfect direct cross. I'm just being
Look at this guy.
I want to see if he see. Look at it. Look. Is no one noticing this?
I've got one that can see.
No, is no one seeing this? What is going on? Look, even
that's
looking.
crazy.
No, she's looking. Look. Oh.
What?
He's a tall Caucasian male. Doesn't appear armed, wearing sunglasses.
All right, so somebody want to explain to me what the hell I just saw? What was that about? Yo, and people try to tell me this ain't a simulation. I'm like, bro, you can't sell that to me, man. Like, it's just too many inconsistent. That's an inconsistency, man. What? She wasn't even in balance. Did you see how she was standing? She was standing in such a way where her legs were crossed, so she would have been completely off balance. Then she had a bag that looked like it was kind of heavy too, so her balance was even weird. Like the whole thing just was weird as hell. You know what I'm saying? That was crazy. Yo, we talking about bullying and stuff like that. Yo, who remembers Conan the Barbarian, man? Conan the Adventurer, the cartoon with Rathamon, you know what I mean, the Snake God or whatever like that. He had all those soldiers that were snakes, and when you put the star medal next to their face, they turn into snakes. It reveals their true self. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy because we just watched the clip from They Live, and the glasses is literally what did that. But what metal do you think can mimic star metal to make these mofos, you know what I mean, show their true nature? What metal you think it is? Yo says she's got a poop goofy. SD Bullion put an article saying every 70 plus years silver does surpass gold for a little bit. Really? Huh. I don't remember that, man. But yo, gold is so high now. I don't know. I don't see that happening, yo, because gold is up there now, bro. I really don't see that happening. Gold, the gap between gold and silver right now is so substantial. It would have to be something very noticeable. You know what I mean? Even though gold is let's see. Good old AppMax here. Get that AppMax app. So gold right now is at about per kilo 74K, which is not 77K. You know, it's 3 grand down from what it was. But if you look at where silver's at, silver's only $873 per kilo. So it would have to be some substantial, something weird would have to happen with silver in order for it to catch gold. That would be wild, man. Because, the way silver moves, it moves half of what a kilo of gold is worth in a day. It might jump $450 in one day or 2 days. Half a kilo of what silver goes for. So that would be interesting if it did. That's one of my favorite movies. They Live, John Carpenter, best film. I'm surprised that shit got made to this day. Yo, y'all know they got a movie coming out about the moon landing. I think we talked about that last week, right? And we got a bunch of new people on here. They got a movie coming out about how they faked the moon landing, yo. Yo. They got a movie coming out about how they faked the moon landing. I forgot what the title is, yo, but there's a movie coming out. And yeah. You talk about full disclosure being in 2020, they got to start telling you everything. They definitely telling us. You know what I mean? Watch what I tell you. Flat Earth is next. They're going to come out with a movie about Flat Earth next. They probably already did. They probably already had one, which was the Truman Show. That's why we need to buy as much silver as we can because it's cheaper to exchange the debt notes for. Absolutely. I agree with that 1,000%. It's cheaper. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I'm going to go as far as to tell y'all this. If y'all really hurt for cash and y'all can't get the rounds, which is the of silver, which are the ounces, you can just cheap out. If you can't really break down and get them joints, shit, man. A gram of silver is only going for 87 cents. And then an ounce is 27.16. That's not bad. And if you want to get some gold, you can get 1 ounce of gold or 1 gram of gold for $74. Well, the value is $74. You're probably gonna pay about like somewhere around the 80 mark, 90 mark, or something like $85, $90 mark. You know what I'm saying? But yo, I was I was at a little cash only spot. I said, "Yo, would you take silver?" He said, "Yeah." A word. Small business, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking to the owner. I said, "Would you take silver?" He said, "Yeah, he would take silver." So, you ain't gonna be able to go to a corporation and do it, but you could probably go to a small business as such. Absolutely. They have to tell us because they have to relive. That's what I'm saying, yo. The karmic debt. There's a certain way things have to be done. If they don't tell you what's going on, they get in serious trouble. Reality will smack them in the head later. And they know this because they got the books from previous civilizations and they know all of this stuff. They listen, all of that stuff that we call conspiracies, they study too. They just know the nitty gritty that we don't know. They have like certified evidence of the stuff we talk about. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff we talk, they probably listen to us like, yo, he's right. He's just missing this point and this point, this point. But yeah, 100%. They know all of this stuff, yo. And they gotta tell you. They have to put it out there. And if you think it's just a movie, that ain't their responsibility. Just like if you don't know your rights, it ain't their responsibility to teach you your rights. All they got to do is leave the books in the library for you to go find free, no charge. Go look it up. That's all they got to do. They absolve the karmic debt. It's been out for years. It's called The Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. Nah, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that. I didn't know about this at all. I'm putting this on the list. Good looking out, Jared. I'm gonna put this on the list. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing, man. Good looking out on that. We all got homework. I'm gonna look at that probably this week coming up. What up, Nicole? What's good? What's good? The scary part when you find out you're not missing any points, you right on the money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. True. True. All right, we're creeping up on 116. I'm gonna drop the link for the invite because I know somebody wanted to get on here and drop some bars. So there's the link right there. The Boys from Brazil film in 1978 shows a human cloning process confirmed by Yo, you know what's crazy? The clone, if you want to talk about the cloning process, go watch the Secret Wars. Go watch Marvel Secret Wars with what's his name? Nick Fury. Go watch the Secret Wars with Nick Fury if you want to talk about cloning. Cause they tell you how it's done. They show you where the warehouse is. All the subjects are still alive. They just in a stasis. And the other species is able to copy their memories too. They did the same thing on the recent most X-Men anime. How Mr. Sinister was able to clone Jean Grey's memories even and kept her body in stasis and then put the other Jean Grey in as the original Jean Grey, and it threw the whole X-Men's game off. Like everything went crazy. That's why the Phoenix invaded her body. She had like a demonic spirit in her body because she was created by Mr. Sinister. She was created by man. She wasn't created by nature. So that's why she was able to be corrupted like that, which is it's crazy stuff, man. But we got my man Noble Emotep in here in the green room.
Peace.
What's good? How you feeling, man?
I'm fantastic, brother. I just stumbled across your page, man, and was I watched a few videos and I was like, okay, he's on point with a lot of things. So I was like, okay, I can hit subscribe. So and then caught you live. So I'm a new subscriber, man.
Thank you, man. Welcome.
Yeah, no, like I said, there's not too many free thinkers that are on the right track. Definitely look up that Office of Persons thing. It'll blow your mind.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm looking at that.
Put some stars next to it. It'll enlighten you on the whole straw man theory. It's actually concrete when you see it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get into that, man. I got homework this week. I'm looking into that. A funny thing happened on the way to the moon too. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, no, I'm about to check. I didn't see that film either, but I just none of us know what the shape of the Earth is because we haven't been outside of the firmament.
Listen, man, Tony hit me. We got a dude in here named
man.
Absolutely, we got a dude in here named Jared, bro, and he's on it too. And this is what I will say, man. Like, it's definitely not what they telling us it is. You know what I mean? For reasons why it would be obvious. But they also on those globes, it literally says on those globes, you know what I'm saying? This is not actually to be taught as what the earth looks like or something of that nature. Like this is just a model. This is not actual. And then somebody showed me some flight patterns too, which they wouldn't let me share the video. The video was
the flight patterns are all the way off. There was a flight from Indonesia to Los Angeles, and they diverted to Anchorage because the lady's water broke on the plane, right?
Yeah.
And if they're going straight across the Pacific, which would be the straight line, fastest way to 2 points is a straight line, why would they divert and go straight up and on the globe Earth? It's out of the way. But if you look at the flat Earth map, they're flying. Anchorage is on the way. There's dead zones too that they don't ever fly out on either. So
They even talked about the soccer team, how the soccer team got here, how they needed to make a stop to refuel. And if they would have refueled, they would have had to go all the way out of their way by the globe map standards. They would have had to go all the way to the right and then come straight down. But on the map with the
Yeah, I saw that.
the flat one, it's a straight line. You just stop right here and then keep
Mm-hmm.
going. Like, hold on, man.
Man, like I said, I believe these eyes and the data. I don't believe what I'm being told, man. There's too many lies out there.
100%. I agree with that. Let me add somebody else in here. We got YTYRFF. What's good, champ?
Hey, I'm good.
What up?
What's up, brother? How are you?
What's up? What's good?
Nothing much, man. Peace and love.
I didn't say anything, did I?
Oh, I thought you were throwing up gang signs or something. I didn't know what that was about.
West Side.
West
DJ
Side.
Nevermore, the original Baltimore Raven.
Oh, word. Okay, word, no doubt. And I got my man Gabber in it. I'm sorry, Gabara. What's up, man? What's going on? Jules for the 4 Jules.
Y'all.
What up? What up? What up?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Peace, King. Peace, King.
Peace
Yes,
and
it
love,
is.
brother.
So, man, what do y'all think about what we talked about today, man?
Gabaria, yeah, Gabaria.
Gabaria, got you, brother.
No doubt.
Peace, King.
Peace, peace.
I don't know what to say about the glitch lady, you know.
Yo, and wasn't that crazy though?
That's wild. I said I thought the video paused until it panned up and I saw the traffic, and I was like, "Whoa, what the hell is going on?" So yeah, no, that threw me off. No, I mean, but there's there's they live, man. They're among us. They're walking with us. I didn't see too many uh photographs of we got detached earlobes and some people have attached earlobes, and I've seen pictures of the current so-called president, and some pictures his earlobes are attached and some pictures they're detached. So it's like and I see the little wrinkles on the back of the neck and everything. So no, I don't like I said, we are all it's a big theater, right? It's whether you are partaking in the audience or if you are actually a free thinker. So happy to be around free thinkers. Yep.
Okay, Kings. I sure want to put us up on some game when it comes to the debt discharge stuff. So I'm listening to the video. We talking about the economy or what have you, what's going on, and then brother says he was talking about the securities. Okay, now I have a slightly alternative perception, but I have proof, personal testimony of not only winning in court, but also discharging debt. We can go through it. I'd be willing to, got the videos or whatever. We could talk about that. I want to get to the principles of it first. So everything is going to be rooted in nationality. Nationality is what places one under subjection. So
correct.
So if we are under subjection and owe allegiance, we got to see there are two aspects in which we've been placed in bondage. It's not just us as far as our physical bodies, which we know converts into state property, but it is also our intangible value within us. We are soul, spirit, energy, any acronym, analogy, synonym, or whatever you want to give it. But that which is within us, the power invested in us. Now, if we go ahead and we say, okay, our value was swapped for nationality. So we gave over our body as well as the value. They both had to be given because they can't access the value without the body. It's the container, so to speak. So we need the container too. So you gave us your container and your value, and the government said we're going to give you rights, benefits, privileges, and a society to operate in. You able to go to the mall, you got Xboxes, Instagram is here for you to scroll. We got this, we set this up for you. Enjoy life. Now, when we say, okay, well, I want to access my value so that I can discharge the debt? All right, well, we first have to understand that the value is not ours, nor is our body actually ours until you 100% self-govern. And when I say self-govern, I mean like in the form of
Operate in the private.
yeah, not just operate in the private, but expatriate. Like let Homeland Security them know, let everybody else,
Yep.
yes, all of the higher ups know you are 100% self-governing. This will put you in a state or in the status of being a stateless person. Now, we by default, according to Dred Scott versus Sanford, are considered stateless people. This would be the blacks and Hispanics and natives. We are by default considered refugees, as we are all conquered and living under the conquered through an exile government. We were all from a government before we were placed in slavery, rather from an indigenous perspective or from over from the motherland. We were all considered our own nation. Now, these nations are currently in exile, as many people trace back and say, you know, Morocco or the Moors, or many people do the indigenous tribal aspect, or for us, we go the context of being the original people of God, God's chosen, the Hebrews of the scriptures, hence my name meaning warrior of God. And this has been extremely productive for us in beating cases, extremely. So let us go just a little deeper. So
I'm undefeated.
Now, when we say our body must be taken back and our value must be taken back in order to properly discharge debt, because both of them are considered part of the trust res of the Social Security Administration Trust Fund, which is the Sesta K Vi Trust that is holding your sovereignty or your value.
1666.
Yes. So this is holding your value. Now, when we say, okay, now let's look and understand fractional reserve banking. Now that we know our body is state property for economic stimulation through actual working, using matter within time and space to produce the energy. Then your value is actually insured and invested into businesses and stocks, so forth, to actually produce funds. Okay, so we see both our value and our body is both used by the government for economic stimulation. Now,
By consent.
Right. Now, where is the entitlement? This is why everybody loses. So let's look at this quick analogy. Let's say, for instance, you borrow $500 from the bank and you say, hey, I'm going to give $800 on the first. I'm going to pay you $300 in interest. And you go ahead and you sign a document and it has your signature and your social. Now, the bank go ahead and says, all right, I'm going to go to the Fed. Hey, look, I got this promissory note. And we just talking about a simple loan. You know, this is the same thing for cars and via
Promissory note is deemed as a cash deposit.
Right. So watch this. Now, the Fed says, okay, well, how do we know you good? How we know you could pay me back? How, if I give you a loan, see, this is the concept because it's a loan. It's not given. It's a literal loan. They have to pay the Fed back. So if I give you a loan, I need some form of collateral or security, something to let me know I'm going to get my money back. So the bank says, well, hey, I got this promissory note from this guy. He said he borrowed $500. He's going to pay me $800. So I'm asking you to let me borrow $1,000 or at least $800. You know I'm good for that. And I'm going to have that on the first. The Fed says, well, how do I know this transaction is valid? Okay, I see a signature. I see a social. Oh, this social has been FDA approved and insured for economic stimulation because this thing is attached to him. If he violates this promise with his social attached, it's going to penalize him in life to such a degree where it will hinder his living experience. And we will bank on the fact that he doesn't want his living experience hindered. So he's going to pay his bills on time. So because we know his social is attached, this produces faith in the credibility of the one who borrowed. There we go. So now when the Fed borrows the $800 to the bank, we on the back end are saying, hey, look, you got that loan based on my value. But watch this. If you go to if you in business and you go to I'm in business, a business owner, you go to the bank and say, I need a loan. I need an invoice loan. They'll say, let me see your invoices. Okay, they'll check the validity of the invoices. Underwriters have different requirements. Some are less stringent than others. That's sauce. And you will be able to get a loan. When I got the loan from the bank based on my invoices, do it mean the people who owe me don't owe me no more? No, that is not what that means.
Nope.
So when the Fed gives the bank a loan based on those promissory notes, do that mean you no longer owe the bank anymore? No, you still owe the bank, and the bank still owes the feds. Now you say, well, wait a second. That loan was predicated off of my value. You don't own that. You're governed. You're a national. You're owned by the United States. You owe allegiance to the United States. You are under the subjection of the United States. This is the Nationality Act, subchapter D. You are section 301.1. You owe permanent allegiance as a subject when you are an American national, state national, whatever. Your nationality is of the United States. They can use your value as they see fit because they own you. Well, when did they own me? You gave your body at birth. And when you gave your body, you gave your value at birth. You aren't entitled to either of them. This is why right now you can't kill yourself. Your body is state property. The police will lock you up for trying to kill yourself. You are owned by the state. And so if your body's owned by the state and your value's owned by the state because you have United States nationality, where is the remedy? How can you say, oh yeah, those securities in the back I'm entitled to? No, you're not. You don't even own yourself or your value. You are somebody's property. You are under what is in Roman law called a nexum or a nexus. This is when the debtor's body becomes collateral when he defaults on the loan. When you default on the loan of living in society because we loaned you these benefits and privileges, when you default on that, you violate the contract of nationality, which automatically brings citizenship. And what we say the contract is, all the laws of the state. So you violate that, you have to become state property. So you don't own they just letting you know you were already state property. You're walking around every day as state property. And the police are under the presumption that you're state property because the state has a pretty refined system of incorporating its members. So when we look at it from this perspective and we say, okay, well, what is my remedy if my body and my value is owned by the government that I'm subject to? Stop being subject to it. How? You have to come under the subjection of your own government or one that already exists. Because who has immunity other than foreign ambassadors?
The church.
Police.
Nobody. Only ambassadors and diplomats have immunity because they represent.
Immunity.
I say it again, King.
What about police having qualified immunity?
Hold on. Two people talked. I'm sorry.
He said qualified immunity.
What about police and their qualified immunity?
Qualified immunity comes from the officers no longer being a person. So everybody who is a resident of the state is also a person. If you look at all the laws that are out there, right? It says if a person, if a person does this, then the person is liable. This person, right? If you look at the Constitution, it talks about people, right? And the law is specific, right? If it's not included, then it's automatically excluded. So what it doesn't say is man or woman, right? So that's why if you are the man, you make the claim that you are a man and do it correctly to the correct channels, then you no longer are a person and you have sovereign political powers, which takes you outside of that jurisdiction within the state. Real quick, Gabora. When an officer does something that's out of the scope of, their oath of office, right? And they're liable for, or they do a criminal act, right? Yeah. They can't prosecute them as an officer. They have to fire that officer first, right? And then they lose their office of officer, right? And then they become a regular person, which then falls under those laws, which they're able to actually prosecute them as a person. there's a governor, there's officers, there's judges. These all are separate offices of the state. This is what I was alluding to earlier, A6, is that this office of person was created so that people could so that the state could actually control all of those entities, which ties into exactly what you're saying, Gabora, which is that umbrella that they're actually controlling the people under. So that's just another layer under the onion upon all the layers that they've done to control this, including the birth certificate, the social security number that we
And
all
that's what
consented to.
that's what our people seem to have a deep obsession with, is like this this, okay, I'm gonna authenticate my birth certificate and think I'm gonna have access to some sort of fine. And the level of failure, see, did we use deductive reasoning and computational thinking? Why continue a process or path where thousands fail on a regular basis? If there's some sort of, oh, you may slip through the crack, there has to be a more efficient way to do something that is legal. So it's like, okay, let me take a step back and reconsider. What puts me under the presumption of allegiance and subjection? It's me being in their, supposedly in their false fictional jurisdiction. But what proves I have acknowledged that I'm within their jurisdiction? The birth certificate. The birth certificate. When you file it at the county quarter and it goes to the Uniform Commercial Code, which it does under the Vital Statistics Act, verified in Valentine's and Black's Law Dictionary, this is the contract that binds you and makes you a national. This is the contract in which they say, oh yeah, you got United States nationality. Without that document and those filings, there is no way to validate United States nationality. How so? We have children with no birth certificates or socials. None whatsoever. They growing just fine, healthy. None whatsoever. What's their status? What's their nationality? The United States can't say they have a nationality of ours. So if we consider, like, what is it, America, Samoa, Guam, and so forth, so on, and then the Native Americans, these are considered nationals at birth. When they acknowledge being within the jurisdiction, or when they acknowledge and say, I'm in the United States, or I'm on this land, they say, yeah, we conquered the land. We got a whole sector and agency called the Department of Homeland Security. We guard the land with airplanes and submarines. The land is conquered. We killed people for this land. So people thinking like, oh yeah, it's just corporate and you can do whatever the hell you want to on the land, like they won't protect the land, or like, oh yeah, well, it's just sovereign if you're thinking you in commerce. If you're not in commerce, you know, you free. You go right, go. No, they got the private and the public side sold up. And the only way you can operate in the public fully is representing a foreign nation. That's it. That's until then you consider under the subjection. So you have to start starting nations or connecting back to your ancestral one, which is what I did. And this is what allowed me to beat felony cases when there was firearms and shootings involved. Case dismissed. Case dismissed. What you talking about? We ain't even dealing with no self-defense. We can't even have weapons according to our record. No weapons from what we did before we were born again. We wasn't always spiritual. We come from the other side. So our record is shot to shit. Right. You see what I'm saying? Of course. I mean, we know the story of us growing up lost. You know what I mean? So we've all dibbled and dabbled. We shouldn't even have a firearm. But yet that case was beat. So I try to get my people to understand what are the principles of freedom. The principles of freedom is really representing your own kingdom. But what substantiates your kingdom? This is the proper filings of saying, well, I'm not under your kingdom. I've expatriated. Y'all got to leave me the hell alone. And I'm going to start from the ground up. I'm going to do my own thing or unify with my people. And we're going to do our own thing. And this is what would have put you in a position to begin the discharge debt. Now you can go ahead and put a lien on the account, foreclose on it, and then they have to work with you. They have to work with you under FOIA. They have to talk to you because now you have beneficial interest in that, and nobody can say that you're the beneficiary of the trust. So now they can't withhold the information of how to operate as the trustee. This must be passed to you. So this give you access to be able to issue payment orders.
I don't want to be the trustee.
You don't want to be the trustee of your value?
No, I'm the beneficiary. The trustee has all the burden of performance.
Okay, so we were put on. That's the thing with Adam. Adam was made trustee in the beginning. So from our perspective, it is our duty to oversee the estate.
I'm talking about the Sesteq trust that was
It no
created
longer
for each one of us.
Right. It no longer becomes a Sesteq trust after you expatriate and take claim. It is now a foreign irrevocable legacy trust in which you are the trustee and your family members operate as the beneficiaries or loved ones or whoever.
I have
Yeah,
my own.
he's
I
talking
have
about
my own foreign trust. I'm
yeah,
just
he's talking
talking
about a
about.
foreign trust is what he's talking about.
Yeah,
What's that?
I have my. I've established all that for my family and all my state. Everything is all my property is in that trust, right?
Even the
Except
account from the Social Security, that's what I'm saying. Don't you
oh,
want that?
that Social Security trust, right? That's all tied in my UCC.
So this what I mean by about in respect like the knowledge of knowing how to use a payment order according to the UCC, which is the proper way to issue trust certificates from your trust. If you operate, if you self-governing from a trust, what's the money coming from your nation? Your nation is the trust. So then your trust certificate units is the only money you can produce as a self-governing person. That's what's predicated on your value. All other negotiable instruments are commercially unreasonable.
Secure party, got you. I know. I get it. I totally get it. I personally took a vow of poverty, so I don't own anything at all. My 508, my church, right? Because the First Amendment allows you to, gives you freedom of religion, right? So you create your own, right?
But I
So
feel you, King. But shit, the Constitution don't even apply to us. You got rights outside the hell with the Constitution. You a king and a God. You do what you want to do, long as you don't hurt nobody.
Hey, yo,
our people created a
hold
constitution.
on. Good conversation there. Let me let my man YT get something off. Go ahead, bro. What
Go ahead,
Yeah, it's not the First Amendment that gives us the freedom of speech. It's not the Second Amendment that gives us the right to bear arms. It's the fact that we're living men with blood pumping in our bodies, and we're just people. We're just people on this planet trying to figure things out one at a time. There's nothing that puts me above you just because someone put it there or someone wrote it down on a piece of paper in the Washington District of Criminals. Just because they wrote it on a law doesn't make it special. It's not the First Amendment that gives us the freedom of speech. It's because we're human beings and we're alive.
I would say the alive part, King. If we say we human beings, that kind of gotta say you a God, say you divine, say something. When you say you a human being, you a monster, you a Homo sapien creature. You're not made in the image and likeness of the Almighty. This is all in the definition of human being. So I say
there's inalienable rights. There's inalienable rights. I agree with both of you, right? But most people think that Constitution was, written by, or was established or created by those Freemasons at Oddfellows Hall. No, they totally grafted that and pulled that from the indigenous people called the Iroquois. They completely took their model and actually used that for the foundation of the United States
You talking about
of
the
America.
Articles of Confederation?
Yeah, Articles of Confederation comes straight off of that. So they say it's Christian, but it actually has foundations in Muslim law. So
it's far from Christian. Yes,
yeah,
it's far from Christian.
Absolutely. So a lot of people, the A6, you got a video on your page that with I forget the gentleman on there, but he breaks it down very eloquently on how the United States of America is different from the United States, and that in 1861, January 10th, 1861, Congress adjourned sine die, which means without day. Basically, 11 southern states had an argument over the 13th and 14th Amendment. The 13th Amendment having original 20 sections, not just the 2 that we see right now. And they walked out and they said, "No, we're not with it." So Abe Lincoln issues Executive Order number 1 and puts us all under martial law. He goes down there, removes the senators that were, voted in by the people of those states, and sat his own people in there and forced them to ratify the 13th and 14th Amendment. Right? And then 10 years later, after Lincoln died over the greenbacks, because he was trying to get out from the debt that was coming from those international bankers, right? In 1871, they create the District of Columbia and turn the United States into a municipal corporation. Where you can actually find that is called the Act of 1871. You look that up; it's right there in the beginning, and it's one of I think the third paragraph. It says United States is now a municipal corporation. Right?
Yep.
They go bankrupt in 19 or Andrew Jackson does the or is it Andrew Jackson? Yeah, Andrew Jackson takes out the central bank, right? And then Woodrow Wilson in 1913, shortly after the Fed was created, brings in the second Federal Reserve Bank, which is another form of slavery, and that's when they create this fractional reserve banking system after they steal the gold in 33. And then you got House Joint Resolution 192 that actually says all debt is held by the United States, who is, has assumed the debt for all the people because they took our lawful form of currency away.
Yep. The debt is always responsible for the debt.
So the discharging the debt is, it's as simple as, saying, hey, he who holds the gold holds the debt. So, it's a simple discharge. That's how I've been able to do it.
No, you discharge debt based on the legal fact that there's no money, not that you got the right to no account, not that they got your value in the background.
Exactly.
It ain't no money to pay no bills with, so I can't lawfully be held to pay nothing if it ain't.
Facts.
That's
Exactly.
it. And we go ahead, we contract with them, take it and agree with your adversary quickly. You know what I mean? We make the deal. Okay, then you handle that. Okay, so now I would say we say it's two different United States, but I want us to consider and think: is there a United States currently where you can live in and not be under the presumption of subjection?
Yes.
No.
No.
I mean, I don't think so. No, we
Well,
absolutely are.
There's
subject
nowhere
to
you could go in the
baptismal.
country and not be under the presumption of subjection unless you live in the woods.
You know the difference between California, the California Republic, and the
What you
state
say,
of.
A6?
That's what I was just literally about to say that you buy yourself some land out in the sticks. You know what I'm saying? Put in a land trust, man. Put a tiny home on a joint.
That's the only way.
You know,
That's the only way. Along your title land trust is the only way.
There's land patents too. You get access to those, the Torrens title and everything. There's a difference between the California Republic and the state of California. The California Republic is still in the United States of America.
The Department of Homeland Security is annexing the republic by gunpoint. Gunpoint.
I agree with you, but that's where you got to use the law to, have them put the guns down. They're not they're not tripping off of 1-2 of us, but if all of us all at once had this epiphany and had the same, if I could project my knowledge to everybody simultaneously, they would turn all of the United States military against us. But again, the United States military is made up of us too, so the international bankers would have to concede.
They would take an L. They would take an L.
But that's why they're hitting us with COVID, this COVID vaccine. They're hitting us with wars.
And the foreigners.
Oh, my bad. I forgot.
Hold on.
Yeah,
hey, I'm gonna need y'all to watch your language, okay? On
the
this
crack scene.
The C19.
The C19. I got to use codes. My apologies. My apologies. Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. Now look, King,
I only said it once.
I'm looking like if we say okay, the republic is being annexed and took over at gunpoint, and we need to go ahead and say, hey, look, we collectively as a unit want to go ahead and do our own thing. And we understand y'all running stuff. Y'all took over the land. Y'all saying this y'all shit now, and we got tanks and so forth to make sure it stay our shit. Respectfully, Okay, so take over the cities. It's the society. It's what the scriptures say, come out of her, my people, be not partaker of her plagues. Gather yourself together and unify. We need to go on out there and do that on a collective basis, and then sit back and watch the universe take care of the plague that's on the planet.
1,000%, yo. And that's what
Big
I've been
time.
talking about. Like, look, it is places you can buy. Like, buying land out here in Maryland is stupid. Like, it's just too expensive. However, if you
I
were to
just
move,
moved to Texas.
yeah,
from
there you
California.
go. There you go. So look, buying land in a place like Texas and a place like Arizona, you might be able to get a solid piece of land for an affordable price. You know what I'm saying? That's what technically we really need to be doing if we want to be completely sovereign. They will leave you the fuck alone if you got your stuff in order.
We got a couple acres down here, Cochise, Golden Valley. I'm in Arizona right now. We got a couple acres down here, man.
I was about to go to AZ.
It's just like-mindedness. Look, we got the funding. We can get the funding. We just don't have the people. It just ain't, don't nobody want to leave Babylon. Ain't nobody excited about not going to the club on the weekend.
You're right. You're right about that.
I'm an old man. I don't give a damn about
Exactly, bro. Yeah.
Let's go farm and fish. Shit, and mind our business. Okay.
You know, I've been so nervous about the current climate here, you know, the political climate, how asleep most of these people are. There's very few like-minded individuals here. I almost have been, you know, I've been contemplating moving down to South America for a little stint, let all this shit happen, because I don't want to be on no targets. I don't want my city hit. Yeah, yeah. The Central Americans, Switzerland is what they're calling it.
Yeah,
So
exactly. They don't have an army.
Yeah, no
Costa
army.
Rica has no army.
And they are not. They refuse to interact with the IRS and the Fed. So you can actually go there. They, you know, you can't garnish. You can't come take anybody's money or funds or taxes. None of that. So Costa Rica is definitely on my radar. Honduras is too, because of the natural alkalinity of the land. So with the water and everything, that's why Dr. Sabi was down there. For that very reason, water is naturally I got a pH of like 9 something. So
yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, you know, living off grid, growing your own food, you know, your own livestock, you know, body of water, so you can actually, you know, feed your crops, water your crops, and fish occasionally if you want to do that. That's priority for, you know, any group. So, but yeah, Gabara, creating your own society is key, but also making sure that when you create it, that you also include that there's some allegiance to the United States of America, not United States. Yes, gotta say that, otherwise because look, 1917 they made us all enemies of the state with the Trading with the Enemy Act.
Yeah.
So everybody's an enemy of the state unless in your doctrine that you have, so you have, you know, some allegiance to the United States of America, not the United States, the corporation, but the United States, the organic republic, right? So funny. All of these all of these people talking about democracy, and we all pledge allegiance to a republic.
Yo,
It's like, man, how do y'all even scream democracy when you all pledge allegiance to a republic? It's just so it's mind-boggling.
So, okay, the word allegiance I wouldn't use, because allegiance would put you under subjection according to the Nationality Act. What I would use is peaceful sojourn.
Yeah, okay. Very true.
Sojourn in the republic. I'll peacefully sojourn. I'm just traveling through. You may bump into me. I'm on diplomatic mission to gather the 12 tribes and rebuild our nation. I ain't bothering no damn body. And we get left the hell alone. Through the grace of God, man.
That's my security guard right there.
I see him in the back. He on attention. He got you. He like, all right, the code's clear. No, man, that's what we had to do. We got to let these people know, look, I'm sojourning. I don't live. I'm not domiciled. I'm not resident. My nation is in exile. Y'all destroyed my nation. I'm here as a refugee, technically. So I'm going to go from the status of refugee to ambassador. I'm gonna just, as the scripture says, I'm gonna take up my cross, I'm gonna carry my responsibility and rebuild my people. So that's what I'm gonna do, and you get immunity in that.
Well, that's why I fall under the umbrella of my church, my temple, whatever you want to call it.
Right, right.
It all my bills are in that, right? All I do, generate
Same thing with
income.
this in the church bag
Yep,
too.
yep. I generate income, and that or generate fiat, and that fiat 100% gets donated to the church, right? Then the church takes care of all the things. So my entity is the only thing that's involved in the matrix, and I am
Right.
completely outside of it.
That's Mr. Anderson for you. You know
Yes.
that right.
Yes,
We plug in the
exactly.
chair and we go in, you know what I'm saying? The
Mhm.
real you is, you come out, you free, you mind your
Yep.
business.
Exactly.
See, if I could get our people to kind of understand some of the basic principles, this movement that we passionate about can become popular. Like, this not really popular like that. People think we crazy as hell. Like,
They're
people,
scared.
people
They're
like,
scared.
them sovereign citizens, and I know and it's like, man,
Oh man, I got
it's like,
the brother in Florida, man, just put a big target on Morris brothers like me, with his, he just, people don't know that they get a little piece of this. You didn't hear about it? I'm glad you didn't hear about it. I don't even really want to say anything, but this yeah, no, you can find it. It shouldn't be hard. But it said sovereign citizen, shot two cops and got killed, right?
Yeah, I thought that was in North Carolina.
No, that was in Judge or Sheriff Grady's district. So that's I
Oh
think it's
yeah, I think I did read about that.
Orlando, I think it was. So
Yeah.
nah, he and the funny thing is the brother didn't have to be as militant as he was. He'd still be here today if he hadn't just rah if he
for the
really
most
knew the
part,
law.
we never do. We
Yeah,
never do.
The pen is going to be much mightier than the sword. These people,
always.
I say this every week. There's a reason why they are the military presence in this state right now. The reason for that is because they have the monopoly on whipping your ass. Like, they will put foot to ass, and they're not afraid to do it too. 100%. And I tell people, like, yo, if you think you're gonna pick up your little GLOCK9 and go get busy,
They got the biggest gang out there, bro. They're gonna fold
They
you.
make the bullets.
Look,
They make the bullets.
I think it was Ronald Reagan said, "If you go against us, we will obliterate you off the face of the planet."
That's why you're
Right?
not gonna be able to do it like
This
that.
is the war machine. We live in the belly of the war machine. So, the only way to beat them is with their own laws. Why,
And they leave ways out. They leave ways out
it's
purposely,
there.
because anything else would be slavery.
They
You have
say
to leave, like,
peacekeepers,
whether
right? They're
absolutely
there to keep peace, keep the
keep
peace.
the peace. Yeah, it would have to be whether you do religion or you do trust or you do nation. Like, there's different ways that you can actually move without even having to fire a single shot. And that's
Them
what I'm
about
trying
the
to
only three, brother. Them about the only three.
Only three.
And you should combine all three for all three-dimensional freedom.
Yep.
You should have the heavens above.
That's the pyramid right there, brother. Yes. The
Yeah, you should
triangle.
have your church
As
with
above, so below.
You should have your church to govern under God, and you should have your nation to govern with your people. You good. You solid.
I always teach these young brothers compliance, right? You get your remedy in court after they violate you. You just got to know how to set them up.
That's it.
Ask whoever's asking questions is the person that's in charge.
That's
And
right.
if you're asking the right questions, they will basically put themselves in harm's way. You can go after that. YT was talking about qualified immunity. That qualified immunity goes out the window the moment you inform them that they're about to violate your rights, and then you get them on camera doing it. So I got a little body camera that when I get in the car, I ride with that motherfucker right there. I'll put that on right here on this chain, and I will sit it right there and talk. So my hands are free. They can't say I got a gun or anything.
If you ain't got a body cam, you slipping, especially
Yes.
in this movement. You should
Yes. Because all it takes is because soon they will change department policy
I've seen it
over a
happen.
huge lawsuit,
I've seen it
right?
happen.
And if you set them up correctly, you can that qualified immunity goes, and you can go after their boat, their house, their pension.
That's right.
Eventually, their wife gonna leave them because they can't provide for them the same way. So yeah,
Right.
like I said, that's a real gut punch. And then the other officers like, man, don't do what happened to George, man. You better watch these. Not everybody is everybody, man. You can't. You better watch who you step
And
on.
look, that's the real do not detain list. There
Yes,
is no,
yes. Thank
there
you.
is no actual list. It's internally they know, hey, don't fuck with dude to sue you.
When I arrived
Interestingly
down
enough,
here in Texas, I actually flew my colors. I let the county sheriff, I let the local PD know, and the state troopers know that I was here, and this is how you're going to engage with me. Here's my fee schedule. So when you detain me unlawfully, this is how much it's going to cost you for every minute, hour of detainment.
Mhm.
Right? So now there's no excuse. I've let you know ahead of time through affidavit, registered mail. So now you can't say that you didn't receive it because I got date and time stamp on when you did get it and you signed for it. So at this point in time, and you didn't rebut it point for point
Hey,
within
Six,
30
what you
days.
say about the do not detain list?
Yeah, what I was going to say, actually, I did a very interesting breakdown on the do not detain list using their documents, and what we uncovered was pretty bulletproof. So that's actually on the Patreon, but in so many words, there 100% is a do not detain. And the way they have it set up, it actually goes through the Department of Homeland Security. They give you a
Absolutely.
chart. There's a chart, and they show you how certain, like for instance, the bottom of the chart is for people like us who just want to learn our rights and be left alone and operate privately. Local governments can refer things to the Department of Homeland Security, and then they take the
Mhm.
information and they send the information to like another source. You know what I'm saying? And then when
Yep.
they get a hit back from them, they get a hit back, and that's when you get like the do not detain. Like you were saying, also sending the notices out is another way. You know, letting people know, look, don't be out here bothering me. I'm out here moving around peacefully. It's not my intentions to cause any problems. You know what I'm saying? You do
Mhm.
something like that, send the notices out. Everything's copacetic. Um,
Gabar, you
then the
gotta.
other part. Now check this out though. The other
Uh-huh.
part of the do not detain list is for people who are actually terrorists, not people who know their rights, but people who try to destroy some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Those they come in through the top part, and they all go through the Department of Homeland Security. That's why people get scared when they hear "do not detain" because they think it's like a situation where they call it domestic T word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mhm.
That's people who actually try to to get busy physically with them, try to out violence them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are the ones who get put on the top part. They the top priority, but us, it's like, all right, they just basically people trying to live their lives as peacefully as possible and not be bothered or harassed. Which they have a right to be. So
Gabara, since you in Arizona, there's one of your senators. I want to say 2011.
I'm a
He had
senator.
No, not this senator of the state of Arizona. So he actually put out a letter to all local law enforcement that there are people out here who don't have any contracts with the state that are
I
free
saw that.
and yeah and do not mess with them. So it's like almost like an internal do not detain list for certain individuals. So
That's why if you look at their driver's license code, it says licensees shall obey all of the traffic laws. There was actually a guy who got pulled over and had his passport, and he told the officer that he
that's
said,
how
"Yo,
I operate
the
on.
code says licensees shall obey all traffic codes. I'm
Look,
not a licensee. I don't have
I'm
a
gonna drop a
license."
little jewel.
Yep.
When you have things organized right, like you say with the DHS or whatever, you can't even have a passport. They took our passports because it's illegal for representatives of a foreign nation to have one. See, we can't get permission from the United States to go to other countries. It's illegal for us to have a passport. They took our passports at the police station when we beat the case. So this is why I say passport this is like what you're saying for what my guy in Tennessee, I think he's Tennessee, the concept of the do not detain list from the internal perspective of the state is they have a separate note file, like you say, but this is state-wise, not the Department of Homeland Security, for people who sue them, for people who have sued the state and won. So they like, hey, don't bother him. He know his rights. He's trying to live peace. We can't afford for you to mess with him and he sue us and win again. So then that's that level. Now, from my understanding and studies, for the do not detain list that's actually with the Department of Homeland Security, it's two aspects and levels. It's the one in which you're speaking of, brother, that's talking about like people, which they are still technically, they have to prove their presumption. They have to disprove the presumption. A lot of the people, like one of the brothers or whatever, who was asking about not being detained, the officer still gave him a ticket because he wasn't on the one of being an ambassador of a foreign nation. So if you aren't registered with the Department of Homeland Security as saying, hey, I represent a foreign nation, then there's still some level of presumption. There's a level of presumption where they like, okay, well, I'll give you personal testimony. When I was arrested or whatever in my house, when I was first into the movement, and I had absconded on probation for almost a year. Like, man, I ain't on probation. That name on probation. I'm free. You know what I mean? So I went ahead and moved. They come to my house or what have you. They like, yeah, I showed them the paperwork, everything filed with the UCC, State Department of Homeland Security, everything. And he's sitting, he asked the Sarge, he say, Sarge, what should we do? Should we call a convoy? He looked at the papers. He said, I don't know, but fuck it. Let them sort it out in court. Like, if there is any aspect where we are unsure, because states like Arizona honor what you're talking about, A6. They honor the people who on the lower level where they're like, hey, these people, they private, they just mind their business. States like Wisconsin, they look at that shit, be like, hell no, you going to jail. You got to go.
Absolutely.
We lock niggas up. That's
Democratic states mostly. And Arizona just became technically a Democratic state. So, you know, I don't know how long it's going to take for it to flip the other way.
That's why I moved to Texas.
Yeah, I'm out here in Baltimore, so I'm feeling the burn right now. But, you know.
Yeah. And you know what? Down here, we actually got inaugurated into the ambassador's ball. That's down here. It's on my Facebook page or whatever, where we was inaugurated in and blessed in with the international leaders. So Arizona is still, and mob next to Texas, is still number one, number two state for honor and freedom. For like, no, you get to be free. All up, man, them the only two. Ain't them the only two. All the other ones, if they see you on that bottom list, like, oh, okay, you try to be a private person. Yeah, we ain't good.
Sovereign citizen.
Right, you going to jail. We like locking y'all up. You got the right complexion to go in the cuffs, baby.
100%.
Hey, I go quiet and I'm like, all I see is dollar signs. I'm like, ooh wee, yes sir. Okay, you're not gonna talk to us anymore. I already told you I invoked my Fifth Amendment.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going through the process.
We creeping up on 2:10, man. I'm ready to get the hell out of here. I gotta go to sleep, get some rest for tomorrow. Got to plug back into the matrix and make things shake until I'm able to do other stuff.
I got you.
Still coming in here late, man. Y'all came in late. Y'all gonna have to get the playback. So I'm gonna hand my man say your name one more time. Please don't take offense to that.
Gabaria.
Gabaria. I ain't want to mess your name up again.
Gabaria. Okay, I forgot the E at the end. I was saying Gabara, but Gabaria. Gabaria. Got you, brother.
Yeah. All right, no doubt. So I'm gonna give you the floor in the meantime, though, so he can have some closing words.
Yeah, y'all. When it comes to like actually trying to correct your status in a way that would put you in the position of being a representative of a foreign nation, and specifically from our perspective, we use the biblical nation of Israel, not the state of Israel, or to be an Israeli or to be Jewish, which is the suffix of pertaining to. I'm talking about the ancestors of the people who sang Kumbaya, where Yah is in my name. Our ancestors had Hebrew origin. And we have 100% proof that going this route could not only free you, but help you access funding as well. So the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. Y'all can catch me on Facebook, Gabaria Yashala. That's my name. Type in Gabaria, you will see me. The Four Jewels to Rule on YouTube. Royaltyandpower.org is our website, where we are very, very passionate about setting our people free, both financially and legally. So if you want to learn, if you want to chop it up with me, pick my brain, we can have a round table session. I'm willing to put my people up on game. Y'all tap in.
Do me a favor, yo. Put your comment all your information right there in that comment section, and I'll put it on the screen for everybody who can't see it to be able to join.
Bet. I'm finna type that in now, King.
Do that now. Now I'm gonna pass the floor over to Noble.
Noble Imhotep, minister of the Great Seal of West Mexum. I am a autochthonous Aborigine American, and I just started my own YouTube channel, trying to get some subscribers so that I can start to go live and share some of this knowledge that I've attained from my vast library behind me. On Facebook, I am I'm Beneficial the Griot. That's my stage name. I'm a spoken word artist. Dope, probably the best you've ever heard. Not to toot my own horn, but I actually share all of this knowledge that I've attained through, my cadence and great wordplay. So, follow me on IG, follow me on YouTube, most importantly, so that I can start to, share game like Gabaria and A6 have been doing for quite some time. So, happy to be part of the community. Like and subscribe to both of these brothers, and hopefully me too. Peace and love.
Absolutely, man. That was good. And you can drop your information right there too, so I can share yours. So this is Gabarius right here, the Four Jewels to Rule. So if you like what he was talking about, man, go over to his YouTube and hit that subscribe button. So you can go ahead and catch all of that stuff. Put it in the comment section, Noble.
In the actual comment section, got you.
I can't highlight it.
Not in the back one, I got you.
Yeah. So absolutely check him out. He had some bars for you, man. So go check my man out and see what's up with it. Go give him some subs. Let's support the round of people who are trying to educate and get as much information out as possible. And it's always a good thing. And me, I am the host with the most, A6, the Foreign National Born Natural. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. It's been a great show. Great host on here. The information was bulletproof solid, man. We have a lot of people still talking in the live chat. They still going back and forth. That's how you know we had a fire show and everybody's still commenting. So that's a great thing. Make sure you go right here to Noble Imhotep if you're interested in what he was talking about and dropping some heat on you. Check him out. Give him a sub, man. Let's support everybody, and everybody will support us. So with that said, we are out. Y'all have a nice one. Peace.
Peace.